well, and no kits available. Only the flash is on Nico as a potential way in. That's only if they actually get the time to deploy them. A creeping play from NiP to wrap into the B bomb site.
Well, flashbang out from Nico, caught out in the open as he was trying to rotate over. Head trick to find the frag and Flames, getting aggressive. Obviously, the hero of Mirage the last time these guys played, but right now only good for one. Dexter and Neofrag left to try and deal with ninjas in pajamas, and looks like it shouldn't really be materializing. Dexter will get the wraparound. He's got Kevlar and the dualies, so at the very least, he's got the little Superman going in for him. And as he distracts, Neofrag will have to be the one to take point and attack. Point is taken, but not any heads. Head trick is instead found by Dexter. Config able to trade out and then duck away. It's Rez to take the round and finish it off.
Yeah, really nice play there from NiP. Took some presence over towards B so that there was no resistance from the CT start of OG. And by the time they get those indicators, you know, util sailing over the site, some presence over towards the B steps, it's far too late. Nico's, you know, trying to deploy flashes because he's in that quick rotate position, but because he was in charge of middle control as well, as soon as he fell, that site wrap is just far too lethal to deal with. Of course, Nico stepping into the in-game leading role. You know, played with this squad for a decent amount of time, went inactive, now is officially standing in Nexa on a break. And I think it's something that could be quite interesting to see how it turns out, because Nico's been around the block. He's been on so many different teams.
Yeah.
And, you know, eventually, you know, most players, when they go through different rosters, they acquire certain strategies or certain mindsets developed by different in-game leaders. You know, you absorb quite a lot of that almost by osmosis. So if you can maintain decent fragging, as well as, you know, implementing, you know, a decent amount of calling, whether it's a bit more on the fly or maybe even slightly more structured than the Nexa to a certain degree, it could be quite an interesting prospect. But, you know, we're not expecting the world from Nico, to be honest.
Well, listen, Michael, we also have to keep in mind osmosis is diffusion through partially permeable membrane. I have to say, I don't know how permeable Nico's membrane would have been, because as much as he has been around the block and everything, that's a narrative we do dive into for a lot of players, but sometimes it's just that the players don't quite have what it takes to be the IGL. It's a very difficult role. I feel like he's not really tried it in his past either, and I have to say the new OG project with Nico leading it has been slightly disappointing so far, because the firepower is very much there. Right, you've got Flames, you've got Dexter. These are some fantastic pieces to build around, and then with Neofrag to back them, well, this should, on paper, be a contender lineup for playoffs every tournament.
Yeah, no, I'd certainly agree with that. It's and I certainly agree with the idea of, you know, leadership traits or, you know, leading a squad is certainly easier said than done. You know, you have to be the one that is infallible or doesn't crumble under the pressure, and that can be quite difficult. Not an attribute that everybody has. Dealing with the anti-eco quite handily, and the second time at it should be more of the same. They still got these SMGs, they've got Galils as well, so even if they tried to steal away rifles, it's not exactly the most pristine of them. Not been able to manage too much, but finally Flames is able to activate on Broland. Creeping play into B, Fiku had control of it, and Rez takes a tag. This is a little scary now. Config also dead in middle, so this is recoverable weaponry, albeit with SMGs, but with the fact they've got such a significant numbers advantage, OG might be able to steal this one away.
None of the utilities really going to be able to force out Fiku from position either, so Rez will not be given a freebie at all, and the CTs, they're all clustered accurately. This B-bomb side is going to be nearly impossible to assault for ninjas, and yes, they've got two smokes, so at the very least they should have the ability to scale forward, but there's still so many deagles that you have to contend with. Player now spotted out as well, and that's Rez who's taking first point. Alexi's there to back him up, but ninjas are going to keep on falling. Rez is down, Nico to find the deeg shot, and Fiku's still alive on the bomb site. Nearly impossible to deal with. You don't have a Molotov, you don't have anything, and Nico's just going to keep on getting frags like he's Bosnian and not Danish.
Oh. Alexi getting demolished as well on his peak. Just very separate, very individual, tried to use these SMGs to take space, and that's ultimately what comes back to bite them as soon as they lose the A ramp fight, starting to probe with Brolan's SMG as well, and just finding nothing for their efforts. One of those situations where they probably would have, they'll maybe reflect and think might have wanted those SMGs with the pack so they create space for those rifles so they're not falling one by one to those Deegs, but it is a stolen round from OG moving into this first gun round because of the fact that NiP dealt with the first sort of force buy from OG so handily. They did still have some floating funds, but this will break their cash should they fall here. And Dexter's got an AWP that can be uncontested, albeit Vertigo, not exactly a map that is conducive to sort of AWP v AWP duels aside from maybe deep A ramp or a fast B pick. We'll have to see how it all pans out, whether Dexter can see activation, a missing piece the last time OG and NiP went up against one another. OG are looking for revenge, NiP knocking them out of the Blast Spring Showdown.
Also out of the ESL Pro League.
Yeah, and NiP didn't even make it out of playoffs.
Yeah, you could have at least gone and made a run, right? It makes us look better.
Mm-hmm. Missed Ellie volley, and Brolan's done some decent damage onto Neofrag at the very least, making a lot of presence over at A, but now that he's gone, NiP's game might just be given up.
NiKo's managed to come through on the flank, but can't find any of the frags. Headtrick and Alexi B come out on top. NiKo had a real chance to finish off everything there, and Rez with the bomb still on his back, not caught at all. Fiku all alone, but Neofrag now comes in. Players are low, Rez and Headtrick both within one-shot territory. For the M4 as well, but Neofrag himself isn't doing too hot. Flames though, speaking of hot, he's gonna heat up, finds the first, makes it look pretty on the second as well. Rez is down and the Ninjas will be equalized on early into the game.
Yeah, fantastic work there from Flames as well on the flank. You look at that kill there from Fiku, or the chance that he had over at B, over to the entrance of B, and if he was able to get that kill, he's kind of set up for a multi-frag in that position. But once that skirted him by, if Neofrag hadn't found his kill through Con, then suddenly the whole round is in flux. But Flames just had such a great timing on that flank, all that chaos thrown in there, NiP were not considering it whatsoever. But a very late deployment of utility over on A that NiP were trying to capitalize on some chaos. Brolan missed his molly, and that really throws the whole idea in terms of splitting fast through mid towards that B bomb site into turmoil, because suddenly that Con player can creep through smoke, can start to be so much more of a nuisance. That's what that bug Molotov is so strong at preventing. NiKo could have closed the round when running through that smoke, but, well, he didn't.
Brolan's hoping that he can get some of that Deagle goodness to work out for him as well, but Neofrag just going for the good old pendulum peak. I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, out. You're out.
My players don't jiggle.
But will he fall? It's the question now. Circled around upon the Tech 9, takes him down, and Dexter's shot been missed. The wallbang won't do much to him. Still enough protection there, but Flames doesn't quite have the same to offer up to himself. Config gone by unnoticed, so comms unclear. Dexter down as he's been punished, and now a 3-on-2 with the bomb planted. NiKo delayed in the peak, otherwise could have caught the cross of Brolan. Now has to peek back over. No one to spawn out. All three players backing off to the alley, and will be looking to contend later into the round. The singular smoke's been used out and back to ladder as well. Brolan naded, not too happy about it, but still plenty of solace. And the quick boost up, it's Fiku all alone. Alexi and Brolan both low, and Fiku good for one. Alexi not caught out, and he should be able to end this right here and now. The time working out in his favor, and Fiku knows it's all over.
Yeah, he thought he might have been able to just narrowly manage it, but Alexi B called his bluff. No way you're sticking the defuse when that smoke is down, and you know exactly where I am. That's cool, calm, and collected, but it's all about this chaos that Config throws into the round to open it right up. Dexter tried to hold that spot. He considered the fact he could be pushed through spawn, but gave up that angle, thought Config would have hit an earlier timing, instead caught him off completely. That man advantage really came back to save the Ninjas in Pajamas, but a rushing play with upgraded pistols, OG fold. Smoke from Brolan to try and catch them creeping over at Ivy. Which is a weird call out, I do agree. No vines there.
Ivy's there.
I think he spotted Fiku looking left and right. Rez. Oh, no, never mind. Didn't see a damn thing, and so won't clear it. Fiku goes by unchecked, and Alexi doesn't hunt down the trade, so Fiku can get out scot-free. That's a man advantage for OG.
He's lost his duel before. Flames will not be able to win it out this time. Dexterous and Brolin in the meanwhile, and the advantage is maintained, so Config, his attempts at heroics, well, those will not be going quite as he'd like them.
Yeah, from Dexter as well, being able to find impact is significant. But Fiku's got a second over at B, but now that B bomb site is under siege. NiKo needed at least the 1 kill in order to stay alive a little while longer. A Dexter retake with 2 players to find, and unsure whether or not that mid lurk is still available.
God, Config just completely outplays everyone in this round. Dexter's moved past the Molotov, but been noisy about it. Headtrick's up, yet to find much. And Dexter, dodging the flash, taking the peek forward, wants to teach the young blood what it's all about. Will be able to close the distance to avoid the flash, and Headtrick around the corners. Given up position, but Config with the quad. What a round from him. The continual adjustment in angle and timing was beautiful. Even when NiKo peeked back into middle, I mean, I think we're going to see it pretty soon as well. Config could just found the elevated angle instead and completely catches him off guard.
Yeah, hyper conscious of every peak that he was exposed to for all of those fights. And like you said, re-navigating for all of them, changing elevation for that final duel on NiKo was almost perfect. And then as well, holding his teammates' push in the post plant. Fantastic work from him, and one of the more recent additions, the surprise addition, I think, for many. But certainly a superstar in his own right. This is just pistols here from OG. They have bent the knee. They understand that they need weapons in their hands. And Berlin can maybe capitalize on that. SMG in his, and can farm up 600 per. OG, 4 players on this A bomb site, but a missed Molotov is not ideal.
Bottle to the bomb, as it's known.
Well, that's about as perfect as it could have gone. A tag from Headtrick, and Berlin finishes it off, so you get the maximum amount of money.
And Headtrick gets the buff on his ADR. Everyone talks about eco frags, they don't talk about eco ADR.
Gotta keep him happy.
Just as a reminder to everyone as well, the only map that OG has taken off of NiP in the past 2 series that they've played recently was where Flames was going Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Mirage, yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say the map, but yes, on Mirage, and he was just a beast. And it's crazy to me that, you know, one of the youngest guys on this team, you know, tied with Fiku, they're both 19, is probably the most consistent, and has been for this OG roster for quite a long time now.
And even there, it feels like there's still some more depth to that pool.
Yeah. Joined when he was 17, man.
I mean, it was with the OG Israelis. Neo frag, though. Finds Alexi, takes him down, wants to now lead forward. Brolin's picking up his position, and Neo frag caught with the Molotov in his face. Brolin just gets the headshot. And Liz with 11 HP, and that's the AK. Config finding NiKo. He's getting timings all over the place. Dexter, though, will be caught out by Headtrick instead. And again, it's a 2-on-1. OG are continually whittling down the numbers of the ninjas, but unfortunately, they're not quite able to accrue any numbers on the scoreboard.
NiKo's just getting outthunk on so many of these fights as well, and Config each time capitalizing. Berlin, low HP. Oh, I don't know if Fiku spotted might have been so focused on his crosshair, it could be a 4x3, but Brolan certainly did, and so Fiku none the wiser. A 6th round here for NiP, and the good times just keep on rolling. OG are getting dominated by some of the more aggressive moves from the Ninja squad. And something that's quite interesting is it does feel, previously in Alexi B lineups, we've seen like hyper execute styles, or he's obviously got a very good understanding of the macro of the game. One of the in-game leaders that I think people most often talk about for that. But the fact that he used to be such a heavy micro guy on this OG roster previously, a different iteration of it, of course, to see him play almost like a looser style with the pieces that he has actually makes just so much sense. But OG are kind of in that same camp. They've adopted a looser style since the departure of Alexi, adopting Nexa in, and now Nico as well. So it can be quite a scrappy affair. I think it's clear from some of their previous run-ins.
God damn, that's really impressive. Honestly, I know it's Ecos, but that's really impressive.
Yeah, just kept a really stable hand on his mouse. Didn't panic at all.
This reminds me of, I think it was Carrigan was talking about Bemis and his spray transfer abilities, and Carrigan said that Bemis had some of the best spray transfers he'd ever seen in his career up to that point on mouse sports, and that's something that he specifically asked him that, hey man, how do you actually train this? Like, why are you so good at it? And apparently he just went into aimbots and did all of these interesting spray transfer drills, so yeah. Counter-Strike, man.
Yeah, maybe
What a
one to
game.
note down for anybody else wanting to do more of the same.
Alexi?
Come on now. That's a little out of pocket. It's a little out of left field.
Obviously, he's been struggling a little bit recently. A lot of the goodwill and good fight he'd managed to build up for himself seems to be whittling away in the community, outside of pundits. Obviously, good faith will only come with good results, and this would be a great one to be able to collect upon. Brolan aggressive. This time, Neofrank will be much closer to him. It's kiss and distance, but who's going to pucker up right now?
Seems like the mouths are closed. Fortunately, all these smokes that are down, nobody's interested. Finally, Brolan finding a gap round towards Ivy, and Dexter now in a pressure position, knows that there's at least 2 here, but unsure about how far Brolan will proceed. A molly down does mean that he's still hovering around, and Dexter will hit the no-scope. Thought he was prepared for that fight more than he actually was. Ready to flank him out. Fiku clearing underneath, and Rez captures. So NiP with a man advantage. Nico trying his best to trade, but again, just getting outperformed on so many of these fights. Rez just taking space. This should be a lost round. This should be a save call from OG.
I hate to be the one to take away from NiP's success, because honestly, they've had a few really good rounds. Configs, obviously the one half-by where he's able to find that quad, head trick, Brolan. Everyone's had their moments, but OG looks like a mess on Vertigo right now. Just an absolute mess. They're missing timing after timing. You mentioned it. Nico's been caught up by Config seeming like 9 times out of 8. We're seeing them have like weird angles that they're trying to clear and not really exactly working out the same way and whatnot. This is not a good sign. This is not the kind of expectation I have for a team who, again, has played Ninjas on this exact map now 2 times before going to the 3rd.
Yeah, and in the last run-in, they were able to at least attain, I think, 7 rounds on their CT side. But then had issues transitioning into the attack.
And I mean, even before that, when they played with their full lineup at EPL, they did take it to overtime, right? It was multiple overtimes, coincidentally. Oh, no, that was Mirage. I'm lying. It was 16-11. They got 11 rounds on the CT side, though, Michael. On Ninjas. So, yeah, this is not going to be a good sight for them.
Yeah, they are honestly getting destroyed. There's so many of these moments where, some of it does seem like timings, right? But it's also, NiP are in the right positions to punish these timings a lot. Like, we look at that res kill there when they're just clearing the B stairs. That is one of those rounds where, Rez I want to say he has preparation. He has demo material to look at in terms of how they want to clear a B stairs hit late, and just in the right spot, the right time, was holding for that exact peak. So it does seem like this T side is just coming together flawlessly here from NiP. The only lost round, and the one that sort of stemmed off the back of it, is really the not being able to deal with the force buy, or I guess the upgraded pistols and armor from OG. Very little util from the OG squad. The smokes that they deployed early have now dissipated. Dexter trying to be hyper-aggressive and could find a timing around the side. Head trick down. He knows there's more where that came from. A second kill from Dexter, but he doesn't suspect Brolan. That's crept all the way through to Ivy and could catch a timing. No, finding Neofrag, and that will be a trade right back for Dexter. That's bomb spotted, but he cannot hold on to that position. Dexter just reloading out into the open, and that sound cue config will capitalize. 3-on-2, NiP are not in a healthy position here, but now without information, without a close defender on this A site, it's open access.
And there's plenty of utility for the post plant. You just need to find that one entry, something that both Rez and Config have been fantastic about. Flames does not have utility to be able to deny the plant either in case they just want to go ahead and stick it. He's just going to stick to the jiggle. Config, in the meanwhile, now position's been revealed. Smoke down as well as a flashbang to cover off the flank. Rez has got the bomb plant in. That smoke's faulty, but Rez will be feeling, rather Flames will be feeling a little bit cautious about actually pushing through it regardless. He does have a kit, so at least there's that to work off of, but there's still only one rifle.
Gotta get something on this flank. Got to pull attention away. Rez only distracted for a moment, but now fully clearing. Config just tucked in at the sandbags, and the flash in. They're blinded by it. They have the kid on Flames, who has the rifle, so has to be the one to stick it, but he can't. Fiku can do nothing either. Between the two of them, they recover a 2-on-4. NiP cannot do wrong. A 9th attained.
I mean, I have to say, this is going to sound a bit like BM, but that's all on Dexter right there. The fact that he's able to find that triple is fantastic. It's what gives them a chance in the round. But they forfeited immediately when he reloads that aggressively far forward while he's trying to back off and retreat as well. It just feels like such an unnecessary thing to go for. And you can see why, right? Config and Rez have been playing other sides of the map so far. Config over in middle, Rez back over towards the B-bomb side more often than not. But even still, it's such an inexcusable mistake that it costs them the 2-on-4 there and then.
Yeah, if he'd had a player with him to sort of back him up while he was committing to the reload, it would have been fine, but he just wanted to maintain that control by himself. Wanted more and couldn't get it. And that's going to be heartbreaking as well, because he did the most. Here he goes again. Oh my god.
Even the second one is a wall bang.
They're not going to peek him either. Thought between the bolts they'd try to punish, but they decide that's ill-advised.
Hey guys, we're in a 5-on-4. Let's not be in a 4-on-4. Even if it could have been a 5-on-3 as well. Yeah. That is the shoe that is on either feet. Dexter is still holding on to this.
Yeah, he hasn't backed away, has he?
Flashbang's going to be coming in to try and force him off. Dexter still zoning forward. The flash is there. The shot will be missed. No timing to help him out. And with 30 seconds, he's the only person on this bomb site. But Alexi fails the skill. It might be what actually makes the difference. Alexi out in the open. But Rez has got another one as well. Nico caught out. In the back of the bomb site. They're all falling apart. Rez on the lurk and Alexi on the site itself.
Yeah, I was going to say it's another timeout. Dexter is trying so desperately to instigate in each one of these rounds, and NiP know it. You know, you see the way they clear towards A ramp. They are 100% confident that Dexter is still there. No other reason Alexi would be shooting into a wall for so long just to get that flash to be deployed and force him off. Dexter has been trying to get in their face, and he has been. We've seen some rounds in which it has succeeded in finding an opening kill. But right now, first off, Ninjas are fine. 10 rounds on this T side, they
Yeah.
are satisfied, but they might just continue at the buffet until they're stuffed. Right now, OG open for feasting, and in with this buy, it's not the prettiest thing I've seen.
God. I think that was a run boost attempt with a Max 7. Maybe I'm wrong and he just jumped over.
Yeah,
X-ray
you
looked
get down
kinda
there
wonky.
quick.
Yeah. He also went even further down.
Yeah, died just as fast. What do
11 for
the
11.
what do the algorithmers say these days? Unalived.
Okay. I don't know what that's about, but it does sound funny, so.
Yeah. What a glorious world of short form content we have. And honestly, this whole game might be captured
TikTok reel?
in one short video, because right now OG are just not putting up much of a fight on this map. Ninjas might be bleeding this round a little dry, but they just want to make sure they don't fall into a trap. They did lose one of these rounds to a low buy before, and they don't want it to have it happen twice. Berlan almost caught out, but able to adjust, and a nade finishing off Nico, who tried his best to help. And it does feel like that has been the story of his game, trying his best to help, only to die all the same. Dexter does upgrade away from a FAMAS, and that does mean that there is one that Flames can attain, but he's trying to be sneaky around the smokes. Won't find anything for it, though.
I wouldn't hate them for saying the No, I don't know what they're saying for. Don't be wrong, but I don't hate them for it. And yeah, Michael, if this was a TikTok reel, I know this song will be in the background. Yeah. Oh no.
Oh God, no. I knew you were gonna say that one as well. The shoe does fit. Doesn't mean I like the style.
The thing is also that you also have to sort of give NiP credit for is that, yes, we've had individual standout moments, but largely this has been a team affair of punishing mistakes. It's been, hey, we are going to make sure that we're resetting. We're not losing the 5v4 advantages. If we are in a 4v5, we're not going to panic and try to make a quick move. We know that we've got individuals who can try and bring it back just off of slow working the map. And then we'll save our utility for the late round so that we can have a fairer chance in that. Even if you go back to that 2v4, they had a full belt of utility and 2 extra pieces on top of that, right?
Yeah.
So NiP is doing a very good job, and despite OG looking like a travesty, I don't want to take away from NiP themselves.
No, they've been. I honestly think they've just put a whole lot more prep into this. They're so ready for all of these punish peaks, and the only way they've been getting caught out is by Dexter being hyper aggressive. But they're accounting for that after it happened to them once. They want to have it happen again. Berlan, oh, this time cannot sneak by towards Ivy, the most aggressive we've seen him in that position so far. But this adjustment, adding Neofrag and being the forward prong, might be the solution here. Alexi gets nothing for his efforts too. The cleanest start we've seen from OG all half.
Would be nice to see them get to 4 at the very least, make it competitive for the second half. Dexter wants to keep it going. Rez is down. Config will 1v5. A chance maybe to pick up some numbers, but not the round, and even numbers evade him. Third on the board for OG. 5 players kept alive. Still will be no op in the next.
Yeah, I mean, they need every round they can. You know, 11 for NiP is already far too much. And they're not always going to get 3Ks out of Dexter. Like, I think that you can. But easier said than done. Considering the amount of pressure over towards the A site in previous rounds and all of the rounds that have come recently, I wouldn't be surprised if it's faster B over at Rez, cheating through that smoke. Fiku does capitalize and punish. Down to 12, but he will survive. Alexi cannot chase on the trade, didn't want to tank a nade. It is much more forward. They've continued to play these forward aggressive spots, not to be deterred by Ninja's success in dealing with it.
Oh, goodbye, Fiku. Best way to get yourself back to a 4v4 possible. No information at all given up for it either. Roland still hovering in yellow, but now they know where he is. Dexter He heard that tag for sure. Nico, all alone, back to B, has to contend, will not be able to do so. Alexi will find him and take him down. Molotov here as well. Flames has got no chance of proceeding forward, so the bomb can be planted. Retake must be assembled with barely any utility to do so.
They'll got that up as well. They just have to account for the flank, and that is something that is already being watched for by the watchful gaze of Alexi. Smoke is well down, that can help buy more time, but Neofrag offers himself up for free, not prepared for the angle. Alexi being dealt with on the flank. It has to be Dexter to clutch. A 1-on-2 ahead of him, and that AWP still posted on the bomb site. Config can back him up once again. Another duo and another success in the post plant. 12-3 at the half. Ninjas dominating on their map pick. We'll see if that continues after the break.
More than a little bit one-sided, as a 12-3 half is what NiP have to close out the first. OG even getting a half-by win in there somewhere. Don't know how much that'll actually help them out going into the second one. They need this pistol desperately.
Let's get her done. Oh, head trick res already activating on this pistol, and Brolan's dualies also see action. They can smell blood in the water. Neofrag trying so desperately to get something back, but finds nothing for his efforts. B bomb site is completely... Oh, sorry, I just misread where Fiku was, actually. And that was really just hunting for a silver lining there. There is nothing that has gone right this whole map for OG.
Well... You know, Michael, I like the phrase blood in the water, but this is more like NiP didn't smell blood in the water. They went out and they spilled blood so they could have some in the water.
This is just far more one-sided than I was expecting out of this matchup.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, Cloud9 probably feels that way right now as well.
Yeah, during the break, we were looking over at what the D-Stream has to offer. Cloud9 sink a 12-3 half in favor of the Estonians on Ancient. Sorry for spoilers if anybody else is looking at that game, but there's so many games going on simultaneously. Gonna have to deal with it.
Well, speaking of games, Flames is slaying some of his own. Neofrag follows up with a Mac-10 as well. Molotov to delay the blonde. That should be good for a bit. Alexi, though, forced off the angle. Can't find the frag. Dexter takes a chance to close the distance with the bombs being dropped. And Alexi getting up with the footwork, trying to move past in the KOs. Dexter is found a bombers, and it's rolling from the side to come in. Has to cross the 1-on-3. It's a spray transfer as we commended him for before, but now coming out with the M4. Roland can't find the loss despite the dink. Nico with the P250 shows him that it's not the size, but the way you use it.
Oh my days. And, you know, the context of this being Brolan's had a stormer of a game. That spray transfer is just more evidence of such. And Nico has been having a rough one, has been trapped at 4 kills for such a long time, and none more important than being able to one-tap the hell out of Brolan there. That might be just what OG needed. One clutch to come their way, one post, sort of post-chaos situation to navigate out of. But Config, his Deeg, is certainly well-renowned. Fiku finds out the hard way.
I think Nico might be about to as well. Might have saved that AK over, but rather Galil. Oh, I lied. Oh, he doesn't. Ah, never mind.
He's just dropping away that Galil, doing his due diligence.
Little does he know, Config is just as deadly with the Deagle. That is something we've definitely seen.
Neofrag might cheat back to go recover that Galil.
It's a possibility, but also at the same time, it is a lot of space to have to move back on, and they're on the half-buy, so they shouldn't have head armor, even if they can't know about 2 of them being completely unarmored. Brolan caught up, but Rez is here. The Guardian Angel watching out from up top, but really, what is the Angel defending? Roland just gets damaged. It's a 3-on-3. Doable circumstances with Dexter being low.
Yeah, Broly just tanked that flash and didn't move an inch. Alexi, good read on where Neofrag's off and can recover this rifle and maybe duck away. No, Nico catches him just on the tail end of it. Now having to move into this 2-on-2, but Hedrick's already on side of the site.
Molotov to the back of it. They're not expecting Hedrick to be this close. He's going to be continuing to creep through, but he's misread where the bomb could be planted. Config is down. Hedrick needs a headshot, but will not be able to find it. A little bit snappy between angles, but he can't really quite get it done yet. Dexter as well, just swinging out, manages to stay alive despite his paltry HP, and Nico with a triple helps him out substantially on this D side again. Yeah, again, bailing them out of a bad situation, and Dexter was ready to throw his life away so that Nico could succeed and pull off that post plant. Ninjas aren't out of the woods yet. They are certainly close to the end of the tree line, but suddenly the shrubbery gets in the way. Don't know how far I wanted to take that analogy. Oh, it's looking for forest fire though, Nico. Times rest pops him out. He's been farming up his T side as well. What's a better chance of bombing here? That's what you think, but a flashbang about 7. Config swapping in and out. Fiku's down as well. Already expensive, but Config. This man still got HP for days, and as he backs off, he's expecting no one to be contending with him, and he's absolutely goddamn right. Yeah, I knew Nico was close by, so I didn't want to overextend and get caught trying to pick up a rifle. Neofrag, though, has a good weapon for it, but dealt with accordingly. All right. It's all looking up. 18-9 on Config right now. Considering how often he was a solitary player on the T side, down in middle, it's not even like he was a late round lurk activation. He was literally the, hey guys, we're in a 4v5 Config. Can you go find a kill? Sure, guys, I'll get 3. Hey guys, we're on a half by Config. Can you go kill people? Yep, and he does that too. Flash is good. Dexter taking a hyper aggro peek, but forcing Rez all the way back into the bomb site. Counter flashes will be good at deterring them for a moment, but they had some plans for how to start off this round. Brolan actually taking some decent damage on the ramp exchange over at A. Almost finished off by a follow-up nade, but able to duck away in time.
They are really hunting for this entry on the B bomb site, but there's a second man here and a third that can be a close responder. They even break down the boost and make noise. Config would have been close enough to hear.
I think they might have filled it. Not sure. Well, that's giving up information and a half.
All about whether or not the OG side are able to reset or whether ninjas figure it out.
I mean, they've got 3 flashbangs, no incendiaries, the 5-on-5 push back over towards the A bomb site that's being prepped and lined up. OG set up for success, but can they actually go ahead and seize the day? Hetrick and company trying to get a boost assembled up in time before OG can push through. This needs to come through faster, and Alexi's trying to make sure that the flashes and small bits of utility they have left can be enough. Configs down Fiku, but Flames on the entry. Dexter, another added to the tally, but the time's running down low. Like I said, no utility to deny the bomb plant, so this will just be a straightforward contest. Configs found another, only to be found out and brought down himself. Hetrick is going to have to contemplate the save. But will he be going for it? A 1-on-2 Nico. I think his stow was spotted out. Peeking forward, shot to the head, but he's still good for it. Nico doesn't really care about the headshots given out to him this half.
Yeah, no, he's fully recovering himself on this T side, and another triple kill that's attributed to his name. You know, a little commendation there for Config. I think he baited somebody out with a decoy instead of a flashbang. That's why he got one of the follow-up kills on the bomb site. But Nico never let it slip by, never let NiP rather back into that round. And now that he's starting to come online, things are really looking up, to be honest. You know, Dexter's had a solid game, but again, it's the riflers that are having some issues here on OG. We're not getting that same Flames flare that this OG team has been able to rely upon so many times before. T-side is one of his better sides as well. So if he's not going to be there, suddenly Nico is. Gap is now 6. And NiP will start to feel that pressure.
Really accelerating the pace, and NiP want to try and reverse some of that pressure out over, just to make sure that they can get a smooth round, not be caught off by the Deagles, not go for any of those slow peaks that they've been trying to find in middle, which have just ended up in disaster after disaster. Nade stacks as well to clear things forward to Config. He's going to be able to rotate down nearby. He's generally been the danger man with the Deagle. Yeah, all the utility in the world is going to be used for this one. Clean as it can. Hetrick, the only one to be able to find a frag there. 4 players kept alive. OG, great stuff from them, helping themselves build up some real bank.
Yeah, not much you can do when you're getting double Molotoved off and all your site players are immediately smoked off. Just nice and methodical. Used the right amount of utility on this bomb, so I could have even thrown another smoke down, but they just knew that they were on a low buy as well. To get a full understanding of where that economy is at as well. Just to recognize that these players also didn't have armor. Now into full guns for both squads. Good aim to start. And things are slow. OG not showing as much presence over towards A. This was a heavily contested area on the first half. But now creeping through to B, Rez will hear some steps and the Molotov be deployed. He has to be falling off that angle, but throwing a Molotov down himself, he actually gets caught in transition. Flames, 1 kill, but it's countered back. NiP still maintaining some control on the site, but getting caught with Molotovs out. Config, another kill attained, but now has to commit to a reload, just switching out guns and using his comrades dead. Body as a means of warmth and finding another hand, another gun, and it's found himself into 4 kills. Config's doing it all on this B bomb side. He's the one stone that is left unturned. Two flanking, Config knows. All 5 from Config on B.
Oh my god. The amount of chaos on that bomb site is insane. OG come through with a great utility set. Rez is caught out on the rotate, is jumping up as well, so none of that spray that he's going for wildly is doing that much damage either. Config just given clean open space to work with from his perspective in terms of flashbangs, because most of the flashes were used early on to try and displace Res. And look, that's a great idea. You should have follow-up utility. You should be able to go through and actually trade out the player who's on the other side with a goddamn M4A1. It's not even like an A4. But Config just zip, zap, 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 and there you go, you're dead.
I just couldn't believe 3-on-3, he decides, you know what, I'm not sitting here. I'm not waiting for this bomb to go down. And he got in their face. The least expected move.
He's having one of those games where you just say, do whatever the hell you want to.
Yeah.
Like, in a chaos situation, don't wait for a call. Don't wait for Alexi to say something. Go kill.
Yeah. That's a full flow state round there from Config.
Oh, Roland caught out as well. So at the very least, OG's not going to let that hold them back. But remember, leeway is limited. At best. Trick, creep forward. This could be an opportunity for him. Neofrag's going to take a dry peek, and that's something you'll be coming out to regret. That's not what I want to see. Oh, we're back. Okay. We're fine. Got a bit confused there, but Alexi. Now the flash peek forward. Good for one. Make it to the MP9, and a flashbang that will be not quite making it his way over, but a 4-on-2 regardless found.
Pico's the only way in, and Config's already accounting for it. Holding for a mid-lurk, but bomb dropped on the ramp outside of the possession of the ninjas, but Dexter, none the wiser. They could have attained that position. The fact that they got so aggressive on that MP9, they're trying to save. They're playing for an overtime instead. They were already low on time. Ninjas have completely shut them out of this round. A good entry, but it doesn't matter if you can get no follow-up frags. Lovely reaggression.
I have to say, Neofrag taking that dry peek out into the op is just... Look, I understand you're trying to go for timings and everything, but late round, when you've got no utility, when you've not used nothing initially either to force the alley player out of position, Neofrag's death makes that flashbang forward for Alexi just possible in the first place.
I mean, we just look at the overall structure from NiP this map. It's been so much better, more well-rehearsed. You know,
Yeah.
the defaulting looked great. The way that they're falling back on the bomb sites, something that we didn't see too frequently from OG, in all honesty. And these sites were just full, and there was, like, no follow-up proceedings. NiP have been the cleaner team on this map. There's no doubt about it. When you've got
Cleaner
Config popping
team.
off like this, it's almost certainly going to be a victory.
Cleaner team with hotter hands as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Roland's found Neofrag in the meanwhile. Another casual death for him. Config caught out trying to back off. Flames is found red. In the meanwhile, Config not able to provide assistance, but as he pushes through the smoke, he'll only find damage and nothing else. Damage that Alexi capitalizes upon before being traded. A 2-on-2, so situation is doable. Broland's low. Now with the dissipating smoke, he should have the advantage on Dexter, but Dexter's getting ready to zone in. Tech9 pulled out, finds the first, and looks around the corner for a head trick, who just gets a quick scope. Spots the second, but he's gone out too wide. Nico will once again win a clutch to give OG a slight bit of breathing room.
Yeah, Nico's been very reliable in these post plants and these late round situations. Just when they need it most, it is a scary affair every single time, but he's been able to deliver. Able to dodge death so far. Listen, we're saying hot hands. You know, Dexter has also been pretty hot-handed, but he's also been pretty heavy-handed in the way that he's gone about approaching his frags. You know, very almost looking like he knows he needs to get an opening kill instead of letting the setup sort of speak for itself. Been trying so hard to be an instigator for this OG squad, and he's succeeded. It hasn't always resulted in round wins, and really, is that his fault? Hard to say. Ninjas, though, on an ideal buy. Alexi, the only one with a rifle. Everyone else on pistols.
Sorry, I'm having...
Quick third voice of the broadcast, and it's even saying that even AI can't see how OG takes this one away, but maybe they still have something in them. Obviously, this round should be easier. Should being the key word here. Brolin now with the M4 recovered and smoking his way short, but not too many flashes to actually force him off. Brolin's going to be pushed away by the Molotov, so the elevated angle to give him nothing. Head trick catching some spam in through the smokes as well. Brolin won't know this, but Flames is inside the smoke now, forced away. Fiku's head spotted, but Fiku ducks back out underneath the cover of that very smoke. He will be locked behind the site, but he doesn't really need to take a peek. Headtrick shouldn't be given anything up for free.
Yeah, an impossible setup to break down, really. Sitting on the site and holds his push. Flames and Fiku are in a great spot to bounce off one another, but Fiku being flushed out, they just don't have time to make this round even feasible. Headtrick, another kill, sure, but they just have to stick this defuse, and there's just no way they do so when they know that Dexter's round the corner. That AWP is such a nuisance, but they're trying to hunt it out of his hands. Rez doesn't care if he goes down with the bomb. Dexter has no ult, and that will be a expensive reinvestment, one that they cannot attain on Dexter alone. They'd have to have Neofrag drop it over, and he'd be without armor. That's not ideal, and so OG won't have the scope here to fight off and fight for an overtime.
God, man, just see these anti-ecos and anti-half-buys have looked really messy from OG. In so many situations, we've seen them lose out a few too many players. Even on this T side, with the amount of 1v1s that they've had to win, 2v2s that they've had to win, it seems like we've only seen maybe one clean round or so.
I mean, you have to also consider NiP have also looked pretty shaky against these half buys. You know, the big reason that OG attained even 3 rounds on CT was off of one of these half buys, let alone when we entered the second half, NiP won the pistol only to lose to a force. You know, that's what kicked off this comeback from OG. So it has been a scrappy affair from both sides when it's come to dealing with the pistols. I think NiP have certainly been the cleaner team with regards to it, considering there were so many, you know, low half buys in that first half.
Sorry to take you away from that point, Michael, but Flames is the only one with flashbangs. They've only got 2 across a lot of them. Has to be a faster play. That's exactly what they're going for. Brolin wants to contest. Good for 1. In the meanwhile, Headtricks found the second as Neofrag went for a wider swing. A grenade will at the very least give him a bit more damage onto Flames, but maintain. Config can't catch out the second player as they duck out from underneath his gaze. Fiku catches him looking elsewhere, so the equalizer has been found.
Timing good for Flames, but that's the bomb. Rez was caught out, but able to adjust in time, and now can play his position. They had access to B. They wanted to reassert themselves that direction, but Rez is the thorn in their side. He just needs reinforcement, some kind of help. No one coming just yet. They're prepared for what is a reinforced B side take instead, and so Rez will eventually get flushed out, but now it's an open option between which side they go to here on the OG side, because they vacated A, and Alexi trying to be aggressive B side.
Could be another opportunity for Nico to try and make something happen here. Alexi spotting out the first, gets both, and there you have it. OG will not be able to do too much over in Vertigo. 10-16, they at least make it respectable on the scoreline, but I mean, that looked like it was NiP all the way through regardless.
Yeah, certainly just the better team when it came down to this map. Of course, they're picking the series. We certainly are going to expect that, but the way that they had